love Katamari Damacy. Pumping up hundreds of objects into a ball while the best music ever produced for video game plays has never failed to bring me immense joy. When Bandai Namco announced a new Katamari game, Once Upon a Katamari, after over a decade of the series being dormant outside of the re-roll remasters and the mobile game rolling live, I was cautiously optimistic. For those out of the loop, the first two Katamari games were directed by Keita Takahashi, who left Namco in 2010 citing creative differences. Since then, opinions on entries in the series post Keita Takahashi's separation have generally been mixed. On a personal note, I've 100% completed Katamari Damacy Reroll and played through We Love Katamari Reroll, but I've never played any of the games that didn't have his involvement. It might come as a surprise then when I say that this just might be, in my opinion, the best Katamari has ever been since the PlayStation 2 era. Once Upon a Katamari oozes the same personality and feverish energy that draws you into the silly, wild, and wacky world of the original games, while also freshening things up just enough to breathe new life into the series. Before we get too deep into the review, I want to be clear that while I did receive a review copy of the game from Bandai Namco, I'm not being paid or forced to say nice things about the game. All opinions are my own. And with all of that out of the way, Once Upon a Katamari begins with a quick recap of all previous adventures. In the grand, distant cosmos lives the king of all cosmos, the queen, and their son, the prince. The king forces the prince to do his bidding, whether that's cleaning up his galactic mistakes or assisting the people of Earth in their needs. One day, while cleaning up the palace, the king uncovers a scroll which he launches into space and subsequently destroys the entire Earth. Now the prince has been sent on a journey throughout different eras in history in order to reconstruct Earth in the present and save humanity from a time paradox. The series' stable humor and witty writing got plenty of chuckles from me throughout my playtime. The king is just as ironic, careless, and dismissive as always, and the NPC's dialogue always brought a smile to my face as I helped them with their various requests. Various jokes such as the king losing faith in his own identity as a king, or telling his son to touch grass, give the series a fresh, modern perspective without feeling overdone or too reference-heavy. Once Upon a Katamari's core gameplay is the same as always for the series. Controlling the prince, you roll a ball called a Katamari to collect objects and enlarge it, allowing you to collect bigger objects and become an unstoppable wrecking ball to those who stand in your way. Movement is controlled with both control sticks, where pushing both sticks forwards will move you forwards, pushing both sticks backwards will move you backwards, and so on and so forth. The system is what many would call easy to learn but hard to master, and it gives Katamari its own unique challenges with mastering how to pivot the ball around the various environments you'll explore throughout your journey. A modern controls option is available for those who prefer the convenience of the left stick governing movement and the right stick positioning the camera, just like in the Reroll remasters. Regardless of control scheme, there's also a new macro that allows you to dash at the press of a button, allowing your hands to feel less strain across longer play sessions should you wish to use it. The level variety within the game is nothing short of impressive. Objectives and environments are never the same given the time travel plot, and it keeps the pacing of the action from never getting too dull. Some levels will require you to create a Katamari of a certain size, while others need you to find specific objects within the environment. One of my favorites is the level where you need to water as much of a desert as possible, stopping by various oases to refill your Katamari's water gauge. Power-ups are a new inclusion as well, adding new layers of strategy when aiming to complete and, as I did for every level I played, obtain an S-rank scoring. Finding the right moment to trigger a time stop to catch up to a fleeing animal, or utilizing the magnet power in the middle of a crowded area kept me thoroughly engaged during my playtime. The usual jankiness that one would expect from a Katamari game is still here. There were two instances on the same level where I was completely stuck and unable to escape by purposely shrinking my Katamari. I experienced no other glitches or crashes during my playtime. While I did play over 15 hours for this review, I still have yet to finish the game, owing to just how much content there is. The game feels content-rich without feeling too bloated or tedious to play through. Every stage has multiple collectibles to obtain, and optional challenges upon first completion, and with over 3,000 total objects to add to your collection, there's more than enough content to keep both casual fans and completionists busy for a decent portion of time. Other features worth mentioning are that all of the cousins are playable throughout the main campaign if you'd rather not play as the prince, and there's even character customization to create your own unique character as well. While it's not the most in-depth customizer, it's certainly more than enough for me to recreate myself and friends in the game. A multiplayer mode called Katamari Ball is available after progressing through the campaign, with the option of playing online or offline against CPUs. It's certainly a fun side mode, but lacks much variety to warrant more than a few matches, outside of the unlockable Katamari patterns tied to the mode. And of course, it wouldn't be a Katamari game without having a phenomenal soundtrack filled with various bangers that I find myself humming to and listening to constantly as I made this review. Music taste is subjective, of course, but this game might just have my favorite soundtrack in the entire series. For my review, I played the Nintendo Switch version of the game, which is a mixed bag of a version. The game both looks good and sounds good, and it generally runs at a stable 30 frames per second, though it does have severe dips during more complex stages and whenever using power-ups such as the magnet. This is to be expected, as this is a next-gen game running on hardware from 2017, but it certainly is a little disappointing, especially when the reroll games were a lot more stable on the Switch. I don't have a Nintendo Switch 2 yet, so I can't speak for how it runs on that, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was marginally better. The game has very aggressive pop-in on objects, especially when rapidly turning around, and that can certainly be distracting when playing on a large monitor. This is the Nintendo Switch, however, and so the primary appeal of this version is the portability factor. Frame dips and pop-ins are less noticeable when playing on the go, so if you don't have any other portable platform, then this is your go-to for rolling when out and about. Once Upon a Katamari is a bold, fresh take for the series while still maintaining the core appeal of the first two games. The same charm, humor, and level variety fans have come to love are all present, making a recipe for an incredibly addicting experience that I find hard to put down. Thanks for watching until the end. Once Upon a Katamari is available now on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, PC via Steam, and Nintendo Switch. Thank you again to Bandai Namco for the review key, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.